ADHD hacks. I have to make a schedule on paper of all the things that I have to do today, and then after making them, I have to number them. I was sitting here being like, I see what I have to do. What should I do? I see what I have to do. Do one of the 1, 2, 3. Now I can start.
Me just realizing that a lot of my intense panic around relationship stuff is based in a limiting belief that if I am not there when my partner wants me to be there, death of relationship, betrayal, catastrophe. I need to attack that limiting belief at its core. And whenever I get triggered, I need to remember, 1, it's normal to miss somebody that you love. That's not depression. 2, that person wants to talk to me and I can't talk. That is not the end of a relationship. That's normal. Normal, secure relationships. You do that stuff.
You know that thing after the day of intense exercise where you're sore maybe, but just a little nauseous? I turned on my very childish music and I got into just the most blissful baby state, childlike state, and I was stimming and I felt like I was on the carpet of my grandparents' house, spinning around about gender stuff, and she was just on the train of well, of course autistic people understand trans people more because we know that gender is just BS. And I'm further along that train where I'm I know that humanity is BS. We're making all of this up. It's not necessarily how we would be in another culture or in a culture that doesn't even exist. We are multifaceted beings and we limit ourselves for practicality. But all right, that's enough. Bye. Hello. To this cute little climbing gym this morning, the Springdale location. Feeling pretty fly, feeling a bit out of body, but my favorite part of the day today was teaching the kids dance moves, which solidified for me that I need to be teaching dance to children and adults. And anyway, I'm about to go to an interview to a place called Creative Action where I might be able to do some of that, but we'll have to see because we'll see in the interview what it's about. And somebody I know that used to work there said not great things, but they have an interview for me, so I guess I'm just gonna check it out. Some leftover Mediterranean. A dream of mine is to have a spiritual center because spirituality and God is really crucial to many people who have addictions and who have mental health challenges that oftentimes lead to addictions. Spirituality is really crucial for a lot of those people to constantly reconnect to their source, to constantly reconnect to their philosophy, to the way of thinking and of being in the world that they're actively choosing. people who are practicing that. And the difference between spiritual space and support group is that support groups are often focused on the negative and what not to do. And if you're really, really struggling, if you're in a certain space, that might be what you need, but I've never had a lot of luck with support groups. I only found healing through spirituality, and I feel like the reason was support groups, I can tend to hear the same things over and over, that are people that are reiterating the negative story that I was telling myself. But where are we going to talk about the positive story going forward? I don't want to heal anymore, but I want to say what's the next steps. And the thing that freaked me out also about support groups is that once you feel like you're feeling better, you can't go anymore. And that's the worst punishment ever, to lose your community, especially if you're in a vulnerable space and you have those living with those conditions. So the only group that I would say is not necessarily like this is AA, which does have a focus on spirituality. So that's good. But for those of us who may not super qualify as like alcoholics, even if you're in AA, you kind of need a spiritual space to go to outside of that oftentimes. If instead you're dealing with PTSD symptoms, or you're just an HSP, or whatever the case may be, and you do not feel welcome, safe, or aligned with Christian churches, and you tend to have a lot of trauma surrounding those areas, I have been well aware of the fact that since I've been absent from spiritual spaces, since I lost my coven, and since my income prevented me from attending the New Age spiritual spaces in Austin, which are a lot of times income restricted, my mental health has gotten way worse, and I've been acting as this person that I don't believe in, and I've been trying to go to therapy, but therapy is not a substitute for spirituality at all. It helps you to ask questions and remove limiting beliefs, but it doesn't so much, and see what you feel inside, but it doesn't so much offer like an alternative philosophy that you can get together with a group of people and work towards. If you're dealing with this type of issues, constantly finding new groups, new events that are not like the same people consistently can make getting well very challenging. So my dream is to, I've known forever that I'm supposed to host a holistic health center that has dance and yoga and meditation, be a part of the community and give back to the community and be needed, not just be served. And then outside of service, to have circles where you hold each other accountable, talk about how are we implementing this, how like a Bible study would be like, how are we implementing these things, living according to the teachings. The main thing is, of course, the building, but we're gonna try.